Hello, great thinkers, and welcome back to the Think Great Experience. I'm excited for you to be here today because we have another segment of greatness. And today it's all around planning for your business to succeed, right? That's pillar 2 out of the 3 pillars. Leading, planning, selling. We're going to be talking about that center pillar, planning. Because if we're not planning, we're winging it. And today I'm going to use aviation terms, as I do as a coach with all of our clients that we help on the strategic planning side. We help them create a flight plan. We help their business to take off and achieve elevation, not get stuck on the airfield of mediocrity with just some mere traction, but to actually achieve elevation and do what your business aircraft was designed to do, which is soar to new levels. So let that sink in for a little bit. Just think for a moment how great your business can be. And it'd be powerful to have a team supporting a plan that'll get you there. And so we use some aviation terms today. We're going to talk about some concepts in planning, all with the desire to unleash the true power of your team to reach new levels. Now, this is the same process we used at the media company when I was the vice president there. And the owner of the company wanted to double sales. But we launched a plan, and after running our plan, we tripled sales, our annual sales revenue. And in the process, we almost eliminated every mistake in the facility too. And so plans are very powerful. But they're not used, not as much as they should be, and probably not as much as we're thinking. In fact, when I go into most businesses, they do not have a plan. I've been a business coach for 10 years now. I've gone into businesses all over the country and nearly every industry. And it's the same thing. 70% have no plan. They have nothing written down that they can show their people and say, here's where we're going. Here are our goals. This is the direction and the destination that we have for this business. And saying that out loud, that's important that we have destination and direction. But 70% of the businesses don't have anything written down. Now, 15% have actually started a plan, but they haven't finished it, so they can't use it. So now we're at 85% of the businesses out there. Another 10% of the businesses actually have a plan and have it completed, but they don't use it, typically because it's too complex. Right? It's too much. Maybe 200 pages of here's what we need to do. So complex that nobody can really sink their teeth into it and figure out how to make it work. Now, that leaves 5% of the businesses that actually utilize a plan that has been completed. Utilize it where not just their leaders, but their teams support it. And that makes sense saying that one out loud. You should have a plan. You should have a plan for your business that everybody can support. But 95% of the businesses out there do not use a plan, even though they have great intentions. And I do believe that most leaders have really great intentions. I believe most business leaders, even most business professionals, show up every day with some good intentions. They want to succeed. They just don't have a plan. So they don't know how to get there. And so people with good intentions can actually yield bad results if they don't have a plan. So there's a lot of reasons we need plans. Plans are great. They keep us on course. Plans allow us to have buy-in, or what we call in the aviation flight planning side of things, having people on board your flight. Because your business aircraft should be taking off. We need to get it onto the runway and get it cleared for takeoff. And we'll start that process today. But you may say, why the lack of planning out there? It's actually pretty simple. Most people have never been trained in planning. The majority of people in most organizations have never been to a formal strategic planning, business planning course, not even in college. And in fact, I was at film school at the University of Southern California. So I was in film school and I studied movies to go in the movie business, but I never learned about business. I did watch a lot of movies, and that was awesome. But I didn't learn anything about business, and I eventually worked in businesses. Now, doctors, they're going to study medicine. They don't typically study business. Lawyers, well, they study law. Designers may study fashion. And scientists, well, they're going to study science. Most people are not educated in the art of creating a plan. And that's where we come in. We help them create a flight plan. And so there's also, in addition to the lack of knowledge on planning, there's also the fact that there's so many plans out there. There's so many variations of it. You could have a strategic plan, a business plan, an operations plan. You could have a community outreach plan, a sales plan, so many plans. And we created a flight plan. And this flight plan allows your business aircraft to reach new levels of success. Now, according to Forbes, according to Inc.com, there's a lot of reasons that businesses fail. Maybe they lack innovation. Maybe they lack cash flow. Maybe there's some marketplace conditions that happened. There's marketplace conditions happening right now, right? Some things that are out of our control. There's a lot of things that could happen to cause a business to fail. But the top two reasons that the majority of businesses fail is they do not have a plan and they do not have a leadership team that can carry out the plan. Hence, pillar 1, leading. Pillar 2, planning. Pillar 3, sales. We'll save that for another episode. But we're talking about planning today. Very important. If you were to go to the airport today, and I travel a lot for business, I'm constantly on an airplane. It would be very weird to show up at the airport, get on the plane, see the pilot, and say to the pilot, do you know where we're going? And that pilot says, I don't know. I don't know where we're going. But please grab a seat. You wouldn't do that. You would be off that plane so fast. I would too. Now, what about when people show up to work and they say, hey boss, where are we going? And that leader says, I don't know. I don't know where we're going. I don't have any destination. I don't have a direction. I don't have a plan. Well, we can't blame people for leaving, for getting off of that plane, but we want to keep people. Retention is huge. If they have a plan they're working on, retention is huge. If they have a plan they're working on, they will stay. Now, I'm going to share with you how I start off every single strategic planning course. Every single one starts off the same way. The first time I'm there, because we do a lot of quarterly briefings. Right? So once we have a flight plan, then we meet quarterly, we do briefings, find out where they are, make course corrections. But every time I start a strategic planning session, I start with the same questions. Number 1, I ask, can your business be greater? And what do you think they say? They always say yes. Everybody says yes. Yes, it could be greater. Yes, we could be better. So my follow-up question is how? How can we be greater? And they need to think for a bit. But as they start to think, we get a list. It could be increased sales revenue. It could be increased margins. It could be better team morale. It could be more market penetration, right? Opening new markets, or perhaps franchising, maybe new products and services. You have to define with your team. You have to ask those questions of your team. Can we be greater? Let them say yes. How can we be greater? Let them tell you. And that's what you build a plan around. The starting point is always greatness. Remember, the 3 pillars of business greatness support a level of greatness that you have to identify. So that could be more market share. That's great. That's that level of greatness. That's what we build a plan around. Now, those 2 powerful questions get the ball rolling. And here's what I'll say. You don't have to have a ton of formal planning resources to get started. You could use one of the all-time great resources, a napkin, just like I'm holding here, and match it up with a pen, just like I'm holding here. Most of us have seen the movie Toy Story by Pixar. Toy Story was a huge success. Made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. I believe maybe about $750 million way back in the day. But Pixar didn't want to be just known as a sequel company. So they didn't want to get right into Toy Story 2, then Toy Story 3. They wanted to build a brand. And so a bunch of them went out to lunch with the director, John Lasseter. And as the story unfolds, it was told that they were asked a simple question while they're out there. What can we do other than just sequels? What are some other stories that we could tell? In other words, how can we be greater? And one of the creative individuals that was there grabbed a pen and a paper, and they drew an image on a napkin. The image was of a bug. And that became the movie A Bug's Life. But here's the great thing about planning. When you get in a room with people and you start asking questions about how we can be greater, how we can be better, and they start answering it, other ideas pop up. And so in that same conversation, they not only had the idea for A Bug's Life, they had the idea for Monsters, Inc., for Wall-E, and for Toy Story. Now, the amazing thing is when you look at how much that napkin was worth, if you take away all the merchandise, if you take away all the TV and cable rights, and all you did was add up the box office, global box office ticket sales for those 4 films, that napkin was worth $2.5 billion. Now, I'm not saying the napkin in your office is going to be worth $2.5 billion. It could be more. It could be worth a lot more. But it all starts by asking a basic question. Can we be greater? The answer should always be yes. It'd be very weird to have a leader on your team say, no, we're as good as we'll ever be. And so when they say yes, ask them how. Now, as you start to build the plan around how you could be greater, I want to encourage you to think out about 5 years. Look at those long-range goals are probably 3 to 5 years out. And they may be hard to think of at first, but that's going to provide a lot of the direction on where you're going, because you should have a vision for your company. Our vision is to be the greatest at this, right? Your vision hasn't happened yet. It's going to. So you're heading in that direction. So these longer term, or what we call long-range flight levels, these goals need to be established. And it's great. Just like you want your aircraft to have 2 wings, you need your flight levels to have really 2 parts to it, long range and short range. And your long range goals are going to provide things. They're going to provide that direction that the team understands where they're going. They're going to provide meaning. The team will know why we're setting all of these goals. And they're going to have a deeper understanding of their roles, of why they're there to support all of these. And it provides that long-term inspiration that's needed to stay the course. But you're also going to want to set some short-range flight levels. These shorter range goals are going to provide some things too. And these will be the goals or the flight levels you want to reach in the next 90 days to 1 year. And they're going to provide action, things that we can do right now, which is also going to provide energy to the team, a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. But the best part about the short range flight levels is it provides recognition, opportunities to recognize our team members. We can praise them and celebrate with them for these short range accomplishments. And recognition is powerful right now. Recognition allows us to reward behaviors we want to see duplicated. And so everything comes full circle. So now your flight plan turns into a tool for recognition and retention, which is so powerful. You know, neuroscientists suggest that up to 80% of our brain's processing power can go to our visual senses. In other words, seeing is believing. You've heard the phrase before. If it's in your plan, even though the goal may be lofty or daunting, seeing is believing. You're going to increase belief levels. You're going to turn the impossible possible with a plan. So leaders, I'll leave you with this question. What are you showing your people? Are you showing them the plan? When you hear people say we need to be on the same page, I agree. We need to be on the same page of our plan. So today, ask your team, can we be greater? Can our business be greater? Let them say confidently yes. And when they say yes, then ask them how. And when they tell you, build a flight plan around that and elevate your business aircraft to the next level. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you at the next episode of the Think Great Experience. Today is an amazing day for you to teach people to think great.